So what was it about soccer when you started playing before I recruited you? Because I mean, you were a headache. I mean, oh my gosh, I remember literally being like, "Who is that little girl?" Because like you were smaller too, back
Mhm.
then. So what was it that you kind of started to fall in love with the game? Like, what was it about?
Well, initially I was just really good at it. So I was that, like you said, small, super quick. I was very, very fast. And so that went very well with the sport of soccer. There's a lot of running in soccer for those of you that don't know. And but then after, as I started to get more involved with it, I loved the team dynamic of it.
Mm,
Gymnastics is more individual. And then when I picked up soccer, I loved being on a team in a team environment, having people to support you, you being able to encourage others. Uh, like now that I'm like 23, there's no other environment that gives you that competitive, encouraging team environment. I also really love about soccer how it's cross cultural. So like you
mm,
can be anywhere. You'll just be at a park and you can like make friends with people you meet for the first day because you both love soccer. So
hmm.
I really love that part of the sport as well. Um, and it's just like it's a flow game. So it's always moving. There's always like sure there's different patterns and scenarios that you can practice and run through, but there's never like one exact scenario. So I really love that about soccer too, how it's like it's constantly changing. There's always ways to be more creative or something new to learn.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
And so after you stopped us from trying to beat your team, uh, I proceeded to call your mother for about a year, maybe a little bit less than a year, and just kept knocking on the door. Talk about recruiting. Oh my gosh. Now that I look back on it, that's pretty funny. So eventually you decided to make a switch. What was that transition like, kind of from playing in your hometown and going to a little bit of a bigger club? What did you feel? What was the difference? How did you handle, that move?
Yeah, so there were two main things that probably why it took so long. One was the relationships. You know, it was my first club team. A lot of those people lived in my hometown. Like two of them were like some of my best friends. So there was an aspect of like loyalty I felt. So I didn't want to like just be like ditching them for the grass is greener on the other side. I wanted
Mhm.
to really make sure like this was going to be a good decision. The other major holdback was the finances for me. I come from like a divorced home, and so like single mom income was like a real thing for me. And so I knew that going to a different club was going to be more expensive. And so those were like the two big things with getting recruited. Obviously, those of you who know Mike, though, he's a great convincer. And so,
Oh
so
boy.
I've done a lot of research on the club too, a lot of good things, and so I ultimately did decide to switch. Mike was going to be my coach, and I was going to know a few of the girls there, and I was going to get some scholarship money too, which was going to be huge in helping me. So
Mhm.
those three things helped, and then yeah, it ended up being a great decision for my soccer development.